Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip where Jordan Underwood says the wheelchairs aren't just for paralyzed people. Fat people need them too. This is part 300 in an 8,000-part series of fat people encroaching on disabled people's spaces. I like to call this series, Get Out of My Way, You Disabled Idiot, I Am Fat. Do obese people deserve to get the same special accommodations as disabled people even though they disabled themselves? We're gonna find out today. Before we proceed, please click like and subscribe so that I may apply comb to mustache.
I hate when people say that wheelchairs are only for people who need them.
I hate that too, man. You know, I've been saying that for years. I hate it when people say the wheelchairs are only for people who need them. Dude, how dare you? Why are you gatekeeping wheelchair access, bruh? What if I'm just tired? What if I just, don't feel like walking? What if it's hot out? You know, I mean, there are a lot of disabled people that could use that wheelchair, but come on, baby, I'm tired.
Because when they say that, what they mean is wheelchair users are for people who are paralyzed. But not every...
I don't know, there's other kinds of disabilities you could have besides paralysis. I don't think anybody's saying that paralysis is the only legitimate disability that enables you to use a wheelchair. Some people have a broken leg or other injury that makes it so they can't use their legs.
Everyone who is a wheelchair user, who uses a wheelchair, who needs a wheelchair...
Notice she's doing the claw hand.
...is paralyzed.
Everyone that needs a wheelchair gets a wheelchair, even if they're not paralyzed. Sorry, I was distracted by that. They do that a lot. A lot of people in this movement do this. They do, I call it the crab hand. They hit you with the fat acceptance crab claw. Oh man, you're gonna have problems now. They're like, did I tell you about the systemic oppressive discrimination? You're like, all right, man, all right. I'm tapping out, okay? I'm tapping out. All right, you win.
Because if you're gonna do away with wheelchairs for anyone who has the physical ability to stand for like a couple seconds...
We're not doing that. We're just specifically doing away with obese people in wheelchairs. We're not saying that anybody else can't use them, just obese people. That's what these people are saying.
I think we should do away with strollers.
Okay, that's a hot take, but I'm here for it. Go.
Because toddlers can stand.
Right.
They can walk pretty far, actually.
They can walk pretty far. They're pretty lazy, actually. That's what's going on here. These stupid babies. I'm going to have to agree with you here. Kids are stupid and lazy, and they need to walk more. I'm not sure what the point of this statement is, but go off, sis.
If you hold their hand, they can get around fine. You know why we use strollers? Because we do need them.
Okay, so you guys are similar to a toddler or a baby. You need a stroller or something to carry you around because you can't carry yourself around because your legs don't work or something. So if fat people can't have wheelchairs, then babies can't have strollers. Okay, this is a hot take. This is a very hot take. I can see a lot of people getting upset about this. This should make for a good title. Hopefully you clicked on this. Oh, Jordan Underwood, you crazy.
Need them. You cannot tell me that we do not need strollers.
Okay. I know that you're talking about babies, but it would be funny if I took this out of context and I just have a clip of Jordan saying, we do need strollers. And it just makes it look like fat people need strollers.
You cannot tell me that we do not need strollers. And
I'm just going to put that on loop. I'm going to make a remix.
You cannot tell me that we do not need strollers. You cannot tell me that we do not need strollers. We use strollers for kids who are pretty big, right? 4, 5, 6 years old. You're using a stroller because kids get tired.
Yes, children get tired. Little babies get tired, and then we have to push them around in the stroller like a little baby because they're little babies. You want me to push you around in a stroller? Okay, so you're suggesting that adults also get tired and we should be pushed around in strollers or wheelchairs or some sort of device with wheels on it when we get tired and need a nappy time. When we're out on our big day out at the mall and we need to take a nappy because our leggies got tired. You need a binky too? Do adults sometimes need a binky? Because reasons? I don't know.
Their muscles are underdeveloped. Just
Okay, so you're saying that fat people, much like a toddler, have undeveloped muscles, and so they need to sit down frequently as well. Okay, you know, honestly, you're just being scientific at this point.
haven't gotten the chance to grow yet. And you know what? Some adults need strollers too.
Jordan, what are you doing? Why is this your life? Why is this what you're doing? You're in a car yelling at your phone that adults need strollers too. What if somebody were to walk by and witness this, like your mom or something, or like your sister or whatever? Like, what would they say, Jordan? What would your parents say if they saw this display? I think sometimes we need to take a step back from the internet when we're yelling at our phone in the car by ourselves, right? Isn't that weird? There's so many videos of people doing that. I get it, like you have a family and stuff. You're not allowed to be loud in your house or whatever. But it's just weird, and it always just makes you think like, wow, this person needs to take a step back from the internet when you're yelling at your phone in your car in the middle of a parking lot. Or if you're like crying, when you're crying, filming yourself, also put the phone away for a while, dude.
And that stroller is a wheelchair. So get the f*** over it.
So fat people need wheelchairs because babies need strollers, essentially, is your argument. Okay, so you guys are babies. All right, well then you don't get to have an opinion on anything because babies are also undeveloped mentally. We don't let them make decisions for themselves or for others. So you guys have no business going out here saying any of this.
We're not in a mass wheelchair shortage, okay? What is your...
If you brought your own wheelchair or mobility scooter, dude, more power to you. Do whatever you're gonna do, but like, if you go to some place and they have mobility scooters or wheelchairs and you take one as an obese person, you just took up something that a disabled person could have used.
commitment to making disabled people and fat people suffer all the time?
Well, first of all, disabled people and fat people should not be lumped together. Nobody's trying to make any of them suffer. And if the person commenting to you is trying to get to you, they're trying to get at you because you are obese using disabled spaces, not because they are attacking you for being disabled. You guys keep trying to lump yourselves in with the disabled so that anybody that questions you seems like a total psychopath. Fat people should not be encroaching on disabled people's spaces or using the equipment that disabled people need to manage their lives easier. So you are attacking us obese people because we are disabled? You are an ableist. Nice try, dude.
If an accessibility tool makes your life easier, you should use it. Because life sucks, okay?
Well, it's not supposed to suck, okay? And if it does, you should probably do something about it.
And if it makes a difference between you going outside and not going outside, use the wheelchair and go outside.
If you need a wheelchair, then use a wheelchair, dude. As simple as that. But if you're obese and you're taking away accessibility tools from disabled people, that's not cool.
Because life is so short.
Especially if you're obese. I have already outlived a few fat activists, okay? So if you want your life to be very short, continue down this path.
And if you really cared about people's health, you would know that going outside is better for your health and well-being than not going outside. And
going outside isn't what this is about. Let's stay focused.
Being able to live independently can mean the world's difference to somebody.
Stop using disabled people's accessibility tools.
Because that independence can mean getting to the doctors regularly, or going to the grocery store, or going to be able to pick up your meds.
If someone exercises and loses weight, they'll be able to do all of those things with much greater ease. That's funny that you talk about these accessibility tools making our lives easier, but all the things that you named that they make easier are things that would also be made easier by losing weight. There's nothing wrong with being obese, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. We just can't access anything, and we have the capabilities of a disabled person, but it's perfectly fine.
If you actually cared about people's health, you would stop discrediting that.
Who said I cared about anything? I love how they try to put that on you though, right? If you cared about this or that, you would XYZ. First of all, I never said I cared about anything, so you can't guilt trip me into complying. And secondly, that's very manipulative wording. that's supposed to put me on the defensive, where now I have to prove how much I care about you or this or that. It's very important that we don't get looped into this nonsense where they're like, if you cared about this or that, you would do blah, 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 blah. We mustn't be afraid of the bizarre labels that people in this movement and other movements try to put on us. If they label you some sort of ist or some sort of phobic, whatever, I don't care. I guess I'm some sort of phobic or some sort of ist then. Don't let these labels make you afraid of speaking the truth. They're meant to censor you. Oh, I don't want to be labeled a this or that. I better be quiet. Yeah, nuts to that, homie. If you do not speak the truth because you are afraid of how you will be judged by others, you are a failure. I have another clip where Jordan expounds upon this idea. Let's take a look. Jordan's going to be responding to this comment that says, is not being able to walk, despite the reason in and of itself, a disability? I would say that it is a disability to be morbidly obese, a disability of your own doing that you can stop at any time. And no, obviously I don't mean you'll lose weight overnight. I mean you can stop eating all this processed food that's making you obese at any time. In fact, you're working to stay that size. So if the guy in the wheelchair like rolling up to the bus stop was like just bashing himself in the leg with a hammer the whole way, I don't know if I would let him use the handicap spot. I'd be like, bro, no, you keep doing this to yourself. I stitched up your leg and you keep breaking it. Get out. I'm the boss of all the handicap spots at my local bus stop. I go down there and start bossing people around. You're handicapped. You're not. You're somewhat handicapped. You're not handicapped enough. Yeah, they've called the police several times. Rightfully so. I don't belong there.
Regarding fat wheelchair and scooter users, William says, is not being able to walk despite of the reason in and of itself a disability? So I would say yes. I think the problem here is that of the people who say, oh, wheelchairs are only for people with real disabilities, fat people should just walk, there's two groups that say that kind of thing.
Well, anybody that did say that would probably be of the ideology that the walking itself would be beneficial for an obese person because it would lead to weight loss, right? You're avoiding the one thing that could help you. Exercise. When you see an obese person at the store in a mobility scooter, you might think to yourself, yeah, good thing you're sitting in that scooter. God forbid you burn a calorie, right? A lot of people would probably think that.
So the first group believes that fat people who are using a wheelchair or a scooter don't actually need it at all. They believe that if you are a fat person in a wheelchair or a scooter, you are not using it because you are having any sort of physical pain. What you're using it for is because you are tired,
No, they would say that you're using it because you were lazy, not tired.
Or maybe out of breath, you get winded when you walk, not to the extent of any sort of like disability.
I guess this is just your nice way of saying lazy. You're saying tired instead. Okay.
And that there's nothing like preventing you from walking.
A lot of things prevent me from walk, but I power through.
Other than feeling fatigued because you're carrying more weight. Specifically just because you're carrying more weight, not because of another disability that causes fatigue.
When I see an obese person in a mobility scooter, it's like seeing somebody with lung cancer smoking. You're doing the thing more that puts you where you're at. You're obese from a lack of exercise and an excess of calories, so you're going on a mobility scooter to increase your obesity. You're like, God forbid I burn a calorie, right? It's just like if you had lung cancer and you're doing the thing that's making you have the lung cancer more, and you're complaining like, God, this lung cancer sucks. Let me tell you, this lung cancer really sucks. You guys don't want it. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you should stop smoking, Joe. What? No, shut up. I'm disabled, I tells you. I need special accommodations.
I do just want to point out that feeling fatigue is a justifiable and fair reason to have to use a mobility aid.
What? So when I'm tired, I could just hop in a wheelchair real quick? What? What are you talking about? Dude, you don't just hop on a mobility scooter because you're tired, man. There are actually disabled people that could use that, dude. Come on. Walking is not the hardest thing on earth, and if it is for you, you might have problems. Unless you're disabled, then you're disabled, and you know what your problems are, and you have mobility aids to assist you.
Whether or not you know why you're feeling the fatigue, whether or not you have a diagnosed disability.
Okay, so the next time that I get tired, I should hop on a mobility scooter or in a wheelchair, or maybe even grab a set of crutches. What? What? Oh my goodness, Jordan, this is so bizarre.
The second group of people are a little bit different because I think that they know that if you are a fat person using a wheelchair, it is because you are in some sort of pain.
I think most people could imagine that obese people are in pain. You can tell by looking at somebody that's obese that they are in constant pain. Like, you look like your whole body hurts and is tired all the time. I've been overweight myself and not even close to being morbidly obese, and I was very uncomfortable. I can tell that being morbidly obese is very painful, besides making you tired constantly. The one thing that could help you, the exercise of walking around, you don't want to do. Someone is throwing you a lifeline as you hang on the edge of a cliff and you're slapping it away.
Being said, they believe that the pain is deserved because without the weight of your fat body, you would no longer be in pain. They don't.
I don't know if anybody is saying that the pain is deserved, but your body feels the way it feels because of what you've done to put it there, right? You're like, I shouldn't have to walk. Like, I shouldn't have to live with the consequences of my actions. Give me a scooter. I've put my body in this condition, and now that it doesn't function, give me some sort of mechanical aid to get around.
I don't understand that pain as coming from some sort of injury.
Okay, so you injured yourself and now you need a wheelchair.
And I think that they believe that every single fat person who weighs a certain amount in their mind has the same type of physical pain. They believe that if you work through the physical pain that you're in and just work harder or diet better or whatever they're thinking, that the pain would go away.
It goes away when you lose weight. And yes, you just diet and work hard through the pain until you lose the weight, and then you feel better. You're not going to feel better between now and then without doing hard work. I know that doing hard work is the worst thing on earth to you and a lot of these other people. You would literally rather do anything else on this entire planet than hard work.
Again, because it's not based in an injury or other sort of undiagnosed or diagnosed disability. But you don't get out if you do have a diagnosed disability, because then they'll say that disability, the symptoms are worsened because of your weight.
Yes, basically, if anybody sees an obese person in a wheelchair or a mobility scooter, they assume that it's just laziness, and if you are disabled, the disability is caused by your weight and is fully within your control to heal. That's what most people see.
And so you still should just walk.
Well, you're not going to lose the weight putting around in a mobility scooter, I can tell you that. And then at the end it said, make it make sense. It makes sense because when you exercise and move around, you burn calories. When you burn calories, you can lose weight if you burn more calories than you took in. So putting in the slightest amount of effort or hard work is the biggest nightmare to anybody in the fat acceptance movement. I used to be lazy when I was younger too, and then as I got older, I just started working harder, and once I started, I couldn't stop. And I looked back on when I was younger, I was like, what the hell? I used to be lazy, dude. What the heck? As you get older, you see that doing hard work up front is a lot easier than being lazy and dealing with the consequences of that later on. If you take the shortcut, you will always pay for it later on, dude. Since I'm old, I know this because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've taken a lot of shortcuts and paid for it more later on. So I've learned that the best way to be prosperous in life is to just work hard right up front and don't stop working, right? We're here on earth to work, dude, literally. From birth until death, dude. We're just going to be working our ass off, and that's just what it is, so get used to it. Try to be the best you that you can be. You may work at this company or that company or whatever, but you can be the best loan processor or whatever your job is and try to climb that corporate ladder and make something of yourself. Almost all of the people in the fat activist movement are some sort of trust fund kids, or they come from some sort of rich, affluential family. Fascinating that an entire movement centered around not taking accountability for your own actions comes from a bunch of privileged kids. I think that obese people should not be allowed to use mobility scooters or wheelchairs, and I don't think disabled people should be able to use that stuff either. You're being lazy, alright? You telling me if I kicked you out of that wheelchair, you couldn't crawl up to the front of the store? Stop. And you get all the best spots right in the front of the store? This needs to stop. Personally, I don't think it's an issue unless you're taking away wheelchairs or mobility scooters from other people. If you bought your own mobility scooter or wheelchair, do whatever you're gonna do, clearly. It's only an issue when you take away spots from people who are handicapped. What do you think? Do you think that obese people are taking away wheelchairs and mobility scooters from the people who are actually disabled? Or do you think they have every right to use this equipment? Let me know in the comments below. Please leave a like. 1 like equals 1 mustache Komen. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.